Hello, and welcome to Jayme's Journal. I'm Jayme, and today we're going to be talking about Meghan Ciana Doidge. She's the author of several series and one of my favorite authors because of many reasons, including the fact that she is super approachable. You can follow her on her Instagram or her Facebook page or any of her social media sites, and if you reach out to her, she's going to contact you back. If you comment on her posts, she will comment back. And if you want to know about her style or the way she writes and want tips and tricks, she's willing to help out there too. So I really love that. Also, I feel like I kind of connect with her on a more personal level just because she's a huge fan of chocolate and cupcakes and magic, which are three of my absolute favorite things in the whole wide world. If you know me personally, then you know that my favorite kind of cake is a cupcake because it's your own personal cake. I mean, it comes in a whole bunch of different flavors and different frostings, and it's personal too. You don't have to share it. Everybody can have their own, you know? I really love that about cupcakes. And Meghan has written quite a few series, actually, but they all are interconnected. So I like that about this universe, and I like that about her writing. Some of the series that she has are the Oracle series, which follows Rochelle, who is an oracle, so she can see into the future. And she helps out characters from the other book series and draws charcoal sketches of whatever visions she's seeing. She also has the Reconstructionist series, Meghan does, that follows Wisteria Fairchild, who is a Reconstructionist. So she has these little oyster shell cubes that she crafts by herself, and she can recreate magical events and then store them inside of these cubes to be viewed later. And she actually has a charm bracelet that she wears that has a few of these cubes with moments from her own life that she wanted to save and be able to see again and again. And that's a unique kind of power that I haven't seen before. So I really enjoyed that. And I have read the Reconstructionist series. I really enjoyed that because it follows some of my favorite characters from the Dowser series that we didn't get to see a lot of. I have actually not read the Oracle series. That's actually on my next to be read list in front of the Amplifier series, which she's also writing. And Meghan's in the middle of writing the Amplifier series. She's actually releasing book number 4 very, very soon. And I think there's supposed to be a total of 5 books in that series. So I'm waiting to read that because I'm kind of a binge reader. And I like to be able to read each book back to back. The nice thing about Meghan is that she's a rapid release author. So she always has a book coming out and at least one in the works. Like right now, she's finishing up book 4 that's going to release, but she's been working on book 5. And she's also working on this space opera, which is totally crazy and awesome. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how she's going to go about doing that because it's a totally different genre than urban fantasy. So I want to see how she's going to take the writing style that she has and work it into a whole new, different area. The other series that she has is the Dowser series, which is the series that I'm actually going to be focusing on today. And all of the series that I've already talked about actually tie into the Dowser series. But the Dowser series is a 9-book series that follows Jade, who is a Dowser, and that means that she can take magical objects and make them into something new and magical. So Jade is the owner of Cake in a Cup, which is a cupcake bakery. It's one of the reasons that I really was drawn to this whole series is because, I mean, it's got cupcakes, right? Cupcakes and chocolate and magic. Like I said, 3 of my absolute favorite things. So we see Jade in Vancouver, which we talked about last time, that urban fantasy, you're going to see settings and places that you know or you've heard of in real life that have that supernatural element added on top of them. So Jade lives in Vancouver and she owns her bakery. And out of nowhere, there is this vampire that is stalking her. So we find out that there are werewolves that are being murdered in Vancouver. And Ket the vampire is trying to figure out who is doing this. he thinks that it's Jade because he's finding traces of her magic in these places where the werewolves are turning up dead. So then she's got a pack of werewolves who are also following her, trying to figure out the same thing. And now she's got to prove that she's not the one who's responsible for it. So she is actually on this journey to prove her own innocence and figure out who's actually killing the werewolves in Vancouver. So the first 3 books in this series are about her and her struggle with whatever is going on in this first book. Because we end up finding out that it's somebody that she knows, and then that ties over into the next 2 books. The cool thing about this series is that it's 9 books, but Meghan actually wrote these in trilogies. So the first 3 books follow the first struggle with what starts out with the murdered werewolves. In books 4 through 6, she's figured all of that out, and now she's starting to figure out, wait, I have magic, and now I need to figure out who I am. So she starts out collecting these instruments of assassination that can actually be used against dragons. So you see dragons, but the cool thing about that is they're not dragons in the traditional sense of the word dragons. So you get this whole new type of supernatural being coming out in this universe. And then in books 7 through 9, she's fighting elves. So the whole series is following Jade throughout this whole character arc. And even though the first 3 books can stand on their own, and I feel like personally, even the next 3 books and the 3 books after that could stand on their own too, because they're really following a specific type of arc, we get to see that all 9 books tie together, and they follow Jade on her journey to figuring out who she really is and where she's from. Because in the beginning, she doesn't even think she has magic. But by the end, she's figured out that she's actually kind of powerful. So I really enjoyed that part, getting to see her come into her own. And I really enjoy the fact that all of the other series that I talked about, the Oracle series, the Reconstructionist series, the Amplifier series, they all tie together, and you can see those characters interacting with Jade throughout her character arc. And then you can see Jade interacting with them in theirs. So you get to see different pieces of this universe and different characters from different perspectives. So while you may not like Jade in her story, you may actually get to see her in a different perspective and in a different light from somebody else's story, like through Wisteria or through Rochelle and even through Emma, because they're all going to interact and you're going to get that second point of view. So I really like that. Another really cool thing that Meghan does is she makes this series kind of interactive, because Jade is a baker and she can taste people's magic. So we find out that characters like Ket taste like peppermint. Later on, you find out that she meets somebody that tastes like Black Forest cake. Somebody else tastes like raspberry. And so they all have their own sort of flavor palette that she incorporates into cupcakes that she sells in her bakery. And they all have these really cute, quirky names like Lust in a Cup, Sunshine in a Cup, Chill in a Cup, Sex in a Cup. Just different, really cute names. And Meghan includes the recipes so that then you can experience that part of the story in a real way. And I've done that because I personally love that idea. And I love the cupcakes. So I will actually bake the cupcakes and then read the book, because it makes me feel like I'm part of that world. And then Candy, the werewolf in the book, who actually becomes one of Jade's really good friends, she wears these t-shirts with snarky sayings. And Meghan has the line of t-shirts that are made by Candy. And I had to buy one because Candy in the series makes one for Jade that says, "Never mind the cupcakes, I can totally kick your ass." And I needed that t-shirt because it's become my slogan. I feel like I bake cupcakes, right? And I'm a mom. So you mess with my kids and I will totally kick your ass. So it's my slogan now and I wear it all the time. So for this series, I definitely give it a 5 out of 5. And I recommend it for anybody who hasn't read urban fantasy as a way to introduce them to the world, because it's a really good way to see how it all kind of fits together, and especially if you're new to the genre. And right now, Meghan has the very first book in the series, which is Cupcakes, Trinkets, and Other Deadly Magic. It's free on Amazon. So it's a really good way to just say, you know what, I'm going to try this out and see if I like it, but I guarantee you're definitely going to be hooked. On the next review episode of Jayme's Journal, though, I'm going to be talking about Rachel Kane's Morganville Vampire series. Now, that one is a young adult book series, but it has 15 books, so I was already hooked on that one. And it's a little bit older, just like the other book reviews that I've done so far, but it's one of those ones that's going to introduce you to the writer and how she builds her world and sets things up. And this series follows Claire Danvers, who lives in Morganville, Texas. That town is run by vampires. And Claire ends up moving into a house with kind of a mind of its own and a resident ghost. So it doesn't incorporate a ton of different supernatural beings the way Kim Harrison and Meghan Ciana Doidge do, but she really knows what she's doing as far as building the world and setting things up and letting you know exactly how things work and giving you a really compelling story to follow through 15 books. So I really think that you're going to enjoy that. And I just found out that they actually made this into something on Amazon Prime. So I'm going to be watching that this weekend, and I'll let you know what I think on the next episode. So if you enjoyed this episode, you can subscribe to my newsletter on my website at authorjaymephelps.com, where I'm going to be releasing exclusive content, and you can get updates on my blog, this podcast, and my book, which will be coming out next year. You can also follow me on Twitter and Facebook at author Jayme Phelps, and on Instagram at Jayme Phelps_author, where you can message me and let me know if there's a book series that you want me to review, or let me know if there's something I talked about that you want to know more about. I look forward to talking to you again soon on the next episode of Jayme's Journal.